And you thought you would have to wait more. Nope, we're getting right back into it here as we have erebux and scizr queuing up here and drafting up. Oh, wow, double visor. What does it mean? We're going to be going into blood run here as both of these guys are ready to go. What do you think coming into this match?
Popular pick today, blood run. That's what I think. Seems like we're seeing that first pretty much every game. I do know his scizr. I guess I found out he has a UT background, so he's kind of coming from the UT community, which is really cool. Welcome aboard, scizr. And he also beat my friend D13 and Holy earlier in the bracket. So yeah, so I hope he loses. No, I'm just kidding. Good luck to both guys.
All right, but it looks like we've got Nyx, Visor, and Galena on erebux for blood run. That's going to be interesting for sure. Visor, Nyx, and Ranger here. So at least we won't see double Ranger, Dire Orb on the Mega. So that's one risk.
Yeah, not at the start. I definitely like Nyx here. It's one of my more favorite maps with Nyx, especially because how easily you can jump to the heavy armor and then from the tri-bolt area up to the shotgun platform. I mean, her mobility is really good, and then of course picking your engagements with Ghost Walk is just game changing.
Yeah, there's so many ways you can play that out, but we're going to be having scizr here at the beginning, getting a spawn top map. I really do like that spawn. It gives you a lot of options, but he's going to be opting for armor, taking a Dire Orb off of it in order to dive down to get a grab for HMG, as well as Railgun. Now, of course, Railgun's already, Mega Health is already going to be gone. That means that the fight for the rocket launcher will take a little bit longer for scizr because of the way he routed the weapons, but he should have enough spammy weapons to hold off his play here on armor. He's going to go for it, too. He really wants it. He's going to go, all right, my rail is going to be enough to give me this item, but I don't know. The tri-bolt coming out of erebux is enough to kind of push him off of this. The armor's taken. Oh, man, the timing of that rocket was just barely off, but unfortunately, there's number 2 and 3 to even the score.
Good ambush by erebux. scizr thought he could get out of there maybe after picking up the armor, but you got to be careful, like I said, doing that in this game. Those ambushes, getting hit with rockets like that after grabbing the health or armor, it may not bail you out. So just got to be really careful and knowledge. Just kind of acknowledge, will you survive if you take some hits here? Positioning matters.
Absolutely, and erebux is trying to hatch an egg on the armor, putting himself on it a little bit earlier just to make sure that he's not going to be missing it again here. He's had scizr get a couple steals here that he doesn't really want, but now he's got pretty tight timing between the armor to Mega, so he should have it on a cycle here. And he might be able to maintain that as against a Nyx, well, yeah, wearing down that stack is going to take a lot of work, and you can see that erebux is being incredibly careful here coming around the corner. Wants to make sure that he gets the initial damage off, and he gets a little bit with the LG. Might have been looking for the rail, didn't quite commit to it. So yeah, good call to rocket jump up to the armor. That means he doesn't have to waste any time letting it sit up, allowing it to either get grabbed or cost some time moving down to the Mega. And a beautiful rail as he crosses, but he's down to 36 health himself. He's looking for a spam rocket or a rail. He gets it, but he opens himself up to a rail. So very risky here, but he manages to get away just barely.
Yeah, both of them in a critical state right there. Good shots by both guys.
All right, taking a little bit of health from the blood. Oh, but again, the point-blank rockets or the pinpoint rockets on the armor is enough to give scizr the frag.
Yeah, gotta be careful. This open area out here is you just gotta be careful on either platform. The tri-bolt area, the heavy armor, you're just highly exposed in that whole area. So just gotta be cautious about jumping across there.
All right, so scizr just trying to get a drive-by rail, gets the one, expecting erebux to come back through it, but now has to be aware of Galena's totems. And against a Nyx, it's definitely a bit of a counterplay. It's like almost a hard counter for Nyx because she is just so fragile to any of those hits. And man, taking a bad hit already, down to 15 health. Definitely going to be on the back leg. Is it worth peeking around the corner for the play on armor? Not so much. Needs to take the 225s and go for a Ghost Walk. Kind of an exploratory one, but one that gives him a shot on Galena for free. erebux is going to be walking out of that. And man, scizr just barely avoiding taking that totem to the face.
Yeah, coming down to a few little tense moments here where, I mean, a frag is just waiting to happen right now.
Oh, jeez.
There it is.
This is such a weak character. You just cannot commit to many of these fights and expect to get away from those rails. Not reliably.
He's got good control of the items right now. So erebux, he's been keeping scizr kind of on a lower side of things, to where even if they do trade that rail shot, scizr is the one who has to run away and really just get anything, where erebux can still challenge for these major items.
Absolutely. But the challenge is a little bit awkward here as they are both just going for a plus forward fight. One that erebux is, or was, getting the better end of, but a nice little juke there with the rocket, and scizr will be tying things back up here, down to only visor and nicks from these guys.
Yeah, good job by scizr to take advantage of a mistake there by erebux. You know, he got caught with one, the railgun was out in a bad position, and two, he compounded the error by actually firing it. He should have just switched weapons.
Yeah, committing to those shots can really cost you. He was looking for the ambush on the stairway, though. An old tried and true tactic here on Blood Run, and it's indeed going to pay off for him, especially with the grab of that armor. Really put a lot of risk there, keeping his nicks out in the open, ready for that rail.
Yeah, he did. Just close match. Very close. Very close. A decision here, a shot there. This is anybody's game right now. Anybody's game. But overall, I felt like, even though he lost the round, I felt like erebux had control for a good amount of it. He just needs to see how to get those finishing frags.
Nice little bit of spam there to keep erebux off his back for the moment, but he's anticipating him coming back into it, and indeed he does. They both get a weird read there, but it pays off really well for scizr. He is really early for this item. There's not going to be a whole lot to collect at this point, except maybe some free damage as Galena tries to escape through the teleporter. I believe Galena was able to get a rocket launcher at that point, at least. Yep. So there's the mega take, and armor's going to be up, and they're not... Either of them are going to be in a great spot for it. And he looks up to get the dire orb up, but the rail comes in just at the nick of time to give erebux the frag, as well as the armor. Is now on the warpath looking for scizr spawned up nicks, trying to get some early damage, but is not quite going to get it. Has to play the longer totem game now.
Yeah, he thought he could get that dire orb off. A little foolish standing out there the way he did, not respecting that. You know, his opponent already picked up that railgun, and he could have peeked back out. He got a little too confident that the person was going to run away and just go through the portal.
All right, just anticipating a little bit of the spam here, anticipating a move through the teleporter. Both of them don't exactly have a great grip here on item control, and a rocket like that is going to keep it that way for a little bit, especially with that rail. Holy crap. So Mega's still going to be a lot of time before it comes back up. erebux can recover on a totem. And whoa! That rocket coming down the staircase, attacking down the staircase is never easy, but well executed. It certainly does pay off. And erebux, you can tell he's a little bit wigged out at this point. He doesn't want scizr anywhere near him. He's afraid of getting cut.
And that's where I was commenting how the ambush is just jumping on that armor. You see, he got nailed with a rocket and a rail. He ended up worse than, you know, going in. So you got to be really careful. And recognizing the terrain of where you're grabbing an item, and you know how safe are you, because getting hit with a rocket rail combo is going to take it all away.
It's always amazing to me how so many of these totems in an open area can actually like find a mark, either because you're being pressured into it, or you know you're not looking that way as you're making the jump. But at the very least, if they try to remove it, you're going to know where they're at that moment. Yeah,
actually, the totem does several different things for you. Like, you're right, when they destroy it, it's kind of like a little mini notification that they're over in this area of the map.
Nice rail coming out of erebux. And that'll certainly help out even the score here a little bit. We're going to be seeing scizr get a spawn up top, and at that point there's not a whole lot for him to grab. So erebux is leaning onto him a little bit here, just baiting him to come out and expose himself. It's not going to happen just yet. Yeah, scizr saw the totem, said, all right, getting rid of that. No problem there. One good direct, well, not quite a direct rocket, but certainly enough to burn off a fair amount of that mega health. And there's the armor, and the rail from erebux does not connect. Both of them from scizr, however, do.
scizr's on fire right now. He is landing a 64% railgun right now, 18 of 28 shots. It's...
All right, Visor's going to be a little bit tankier here potentially, and he's wanting to use that
airborne
tanky behavior, but man, the rockets are just keeping him off the ground until he falls there in pieces. Good round there, as that brings things back together 1-1.
Yeah, came around the corner into a rocket ambush, and then of course the great, the bounce, and then the midair after the bounce is just, that's highlight reel stuff. Good kill there. Excellent kill.
All right, erebux spawning down.
Setting those traps. Setting those traps.
Yep. Oh, geez, such a Hail Mary dire orb just to get out of that situation, but he did it after already receiving a rocket, so a lot of that stack is going to be gone. erebux just sitting on the mega here just because it gives you a lot of angle plays with the rail, and as we've seen so far, erebux is really confident on those rails so far. But he's going to leave it up eventually here, as items are going to be coming up close to the same time. There's a potential for a trade, but also the potential for one fight to take both. Yeah,
this is a position where you... See, now with the rail, you definitely want to push him. Oh, he didn't go for it.
Right, still a trade, but
trying to pick
they
him out
also
of the
traded damage there. Yeah. Nice. Wow, the anticipation on the jump pad, you think, all right, he's going to come up. I'm going to get some free damage here. But the rocket from erebux completely shutting that plan down. But unfortunately, he tries to hatch a mega health, and it doesn't quite go his way.
Yeah, got caught in that hallway and missed a few shots. And scizr didn't. Yeah.
All right, but he poked out, did a little bit of damage just to let him know, hey, I'm down here, but I'm not going to let you take this mega away from me. It's mine. If it means a trade, great. But as you can see, erebux has taken a lot of damage for the trouble.
Yeah, it's sitting up there. It's very dangerous. He's in a world of hurt right now after that rail.
Oh, geez. Here's some plus forward coming out of scizr. It's dangerous, though. He's trying to extract. erebux doesn't really want to push it forward, though. But they might both be meeting here at rocket launcher. There's that 25 health pickup, and I do love that it's stairs now. Instead of a jump pad, you can get up there quietly. However, that health pickup could give you away and trap you. Oh, they're going to be colliding at Mega. It's going to be an awkward, very close range rocket fight. But with 8 HP, scizr is going to be taking him down, putting erebux back up on Nyx. erebux has got to know that scizr's weak. Yeah. He wants the damage, but he's not going to get it for free here. I mean, scizr's still railable. All the 25s that are in easy reach have been taken away, so he's got to extend a little bit here. Oh, geez. Meeting up there is never fun. It was a good direct rocket, but he just didn't have the stack for it. So it's going to leave Nyx with only 25 health. He's able to take away both 25s, something that scizr wanted about 30 seconds ago. Couldn't quite get it. Did he pop visor already?
You got to be careful. Yes, he did.
All right, cool. I don't blame that at all. I mean, once you know your opponent's weak and you spawn visor, try to find them, try to see if you can force an early fight. Didn't quite work out for scizr, though.
You got to be careful coming out there like that. Oh, if only the erebux. If he would have pulled out an LG there, he could have put some hurt on him.
Geez, getting pummeled into the
gonna hurt him anyway,
with the rockets here. That's going to be a nasty play, as it's going to be Nyx on Nyx. The first I think
big turnaround right now.
There's the spam.
erebux has got all the momentum right now.
It's so weird seeing so much of that spam not connect. I mean, the hallway's a little bit wider now. It's a little bit deeper, and it's a little bit harder to make those rockets a sure thing just by throwing them up there. It actually favors whoever's up there a little bit more because they can set up a pretty, easy rail angle. But man, here comes the rockets once again. One more rail would do it from scizr, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you don't want to be down there with the railgun. I mean, granted, if you would have hit both shots, probably gets a kill there, maybe. But the rocket launcher is going to throw your aim off, especially when it starts, bouncing you off the floor and off the walls, off the ceiling.
Yeah.
Good positioning by erebux to get in there and get that kill.
All right, so top map, we just heard Mega taken away. It's going to be a bit of a fight here over items, which means diving down for a rail could indeed be worthwhile, especially if he can hit 2, maybe not quite 3 rails in a row, but finishing up with the shotgun, more than capable, more than respectable. And that's a good frag against
Nice
Ranger.
weapon switch.
Yeah.
Nice weapon switch. Took no chances there. And then, of course, the visor, right? So you got that second rail in there using the ability. So he got a good, nice little jump peak rail in there.
Oh, you can't sneak around that corner if you have a rail out. That's not how that works.
Yes. Yeah, it hums. And again, that positioning there, when you don't have control on this map, this is good right now. erebux has got him in big trouble.
Crossing here is going to be so difficult. Yeah.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes. But you got to be careful going up that whole shotgun area when you don't have control. Even when you do have control, you got to be careful just eating a rail up there. It's just, you're highly exposed and you don't have a lot of maneuverability because the hallways are so narrow and you have a narrow walkway by the shotgun. And of course, where are you going to go when you're at shotgun? Drop down in the middle of a wide open area beneath your opponent, so you got to be careful going up there. It's more of a power position. So when I see people go up there when they're not in control, I would just tell them to review the film and maybe think twice about that.
Play it back a few times, yeah. I think there's
a few times, see what happens.
I think some of it's got to come from the fact that you know how engagements are going to go up top there from other games, and it's not quite how it plays out here. It's a little bit different. There's a little bit more room to play with. The rocket splash is a little bit smaller, and you don't always get what you think you're going to get out of that. Especially with the abilities.
Got to be careful.
Yeah. So we're going to be going into the next map here, and I mean, that was a pretty close game. We had some really sick shots out of both players. I mean, I think we saw something like 40% rail out of scizr there. Just amazing work. But Gonna have to see how it works out in the next one. I mean, we're probably gonna get a little bit more room. Seeing a lot of Blood Run today means that we get to examine how Blood Run kind of funnels you into these fights very, very often. And most of the other maps do a better, well, a different job of allowing you a little bit more room to breathe, a little bit more room to plan out your next fight. Blood Run, well, the name says it all. It likes to keep things flowing. All right, we're going over to Blood Covenant, actually.
Yeah, Blood Covenant next. scizr had he cooled off a little bit with the rail. Like I said, he started off hot. He was like 68%. And then by the end of the game, he was like around 48%. So he definitely cooled off towards the end of the game, started missing some shots. And part of that was due to the positions that erebux is putting him into, hitting him with rockets and kind of throwing his aim off. So I'm curious because Blood Covenant is a good map for a heavy railer. So I want to see if he maybe gets some momentum here and he starts off hot like he did the last game.
Yeah. Now this is the map where I think you have the ability, even more than Ruins of Sarnath, to kind of plus back a bit and, you know, force not item trades, but just, you know, both players kind of recovering. It's a bad analogy, but I was kind of thinking of Quake World DM2, Claustrophobopoulos, where you've got, you know, 2 reds, 2 megas, and here you've got a little bit of the same split. I mean, the items are on direct opposite ends of the map from each other, and you see so many fights turn into, well, we both took damage, I'm going to go get mega, you go get armor, we'll talk later.
Yeah, definitely. And you're going to see a lot of that, especially in tournament play, because, you know, people's nerves are going to be involved, and you don't want to take that risk. But eventually something has to give. Somebody has to, you know, make a play. Usually you'll see somebody delay one item a little bit. You know, you want the separation and timer, right? For the newer players, it's 30 seconds on the spawns for the heavy armor and the mega health. So ideally, being that they're, like Jahar just mentioned, they're on the opposite sides of the map, ideally you want a 15-second split, right?
Yeah.
You got equal time to make it back and forth. Yeah.
But, you know, fortunately, we don't see that happen all that often. I mean, I thought that the 30-second, you know, equal timing would make that happen much more often. But the way people have been playing it, it just hasn't been working out that way. So as we get started,
of course,
here,
there's risk involved too while doing it, because if you were to lose control and then now you gave your opponent, you know, now he can run back and forth between the items easily. So
definitely something to avoid. And erebux is trying to avoid these rails right now, but even after he took away the scope, he still got the hit in. He's like, all right, could I get maybe one more out of that? No? All right, cool. But again, I think we're going to see a point where he can't really put much pressure on the mega, and his opponent can't put much pressure on the armor. However, erebux still took a ton of damage, and these rails are still so consistent. scizr has no problem whipping out the railgun close range like this, and a 61 damage rocket is definitely going to put erebux on his back leg. He's going to see scizr at LG try to get out of there, but you've only got a couple options. You can try to juke your opponent to the jump pad, or get up the stairs, or completely juke them and go up the stairs. But once you're up the stairs, it still takes you a little bit of time to get back into mega. So once again, this fight breaks away, and they're both going to be going on opposite sides.
Good play by erebux there to avoid a frag. He was in bad shape.
Oh, jeez. Gotta be terrified of those rails, but why go that way? Oh, geez, this isn't sacrifice. There's no door there to help you out. You're stuck. And yeah, right off the spawn, 2 rails.
Really
yeah,
sharp.
No kidding.
He's at 70% right now to start the game.
Yikes. All right, but this is still going to be point. See, even when your opponent's a fresh spawn and you see him going up that jump pad from lower armor, you're like, all right, cool, they're going to get it. I'm going to go get armor instead. And you see a lot of these fights happening at rocket launcher near this teleporter. This is not a fight that scizr has to stay in, though, but erebux is not going to give him the option and finally get a frag under his belt here on Blood Covenant.
Yeah, good rockets, and then recognizing, you know, he had him low, switch the machine gun, get that frag, get yourself back in the game. Be careful.
All right, good use.
I was wondering, I was like, be careful peeking over that ledge with bridge, and he changed his mind at the last, and a rocket just whizzed right by him. It's
another new feature of Blood Covenant where, you know, you have that open area now, and you can actually get popped in and thrown out of the map that way, which is nice when that happens. All right, erebux is now looking for a rail opportunity here. He's respecting scizr's ability to track him down and get the rails in, but solid rocket, 90 damage out of there. Yeah.
Good read. He heard that jump pad.
This is where things could change. Even though we have the items coming up at about the same time, erebux is going to go on the attack here and find his opponent at the weapon or at the item that he would naturally get and make sure that nothing natural happens. Nice. And so now he's got both items.
In trouble now.
And it's not the 15 seconds you
Huge.
mentioned there, Machiavelli, but it's, you know, 17, not bad. It's enough time to get back over to Mega, look for your opponent, look for a fight, and use the fact that you've got the stack advantage. Even if it doesn't actually mean like an actual stack advantage.
Oh, you missed it.
Oh,
You got it
nice.
anyway.
Good round indeed.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't need to, that's why I said ideally, you know, 15 seconds. But hey, if you get 10 seconds, 8 seconds, just something between them, you know, it's good. Good comeback there. Very good comeback.
1. Round 2. Fight.
Certainly wasn't expecting it with scizr's rails, but erebux responded very, very nicely. He realized, yeah, I can actually slow the game down here. Just because my opponent's running at me and hitting 80% rails, I don't need to be in a place where he can make that happen easily. But just as I say that, he's getting caught down at the armor a little bit. Has a nice escape with the dire orb, though. scizr is able to escape back over towards Mega side, but he's made some noise over by the rocket launcher. Erebux is going to know he's there. He's actually hiding out. Is this... He didn't see him? Oh, man, what is your FOV? Oh, geez, but the damage goes both ways. Erebux is barely getting out of that alive. He's done more damage to scizr, though. That Mega's going to go to scizr. Erebux is going to hear it, see it, say, okay, cool, I'm going to try to get back to armor, but they'll actually kind of meet. He could be behind you, for all you know, actually. Got to be really careful, but it didn't look like he actually committed to it. You could see how nervous Erebux was on that pickup.
Yeah, they were both a little nervous there, you could tell.
All right. So they're really starting to respect each other.
Little cat
here.
and mouse.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah,
7
so
seconds
they're each
between
kinda
items.
taking their item.
And that means that whoever, if Mega comes up before armor, whoever has Mega actually has a pretty good opportunity to get some decent rail angles on his opponent. But look at this dive in for the armor. He wants everything. Mega armor the worst, but he's getting severely punished for it right now as he has to cross the map back over here. And coming up this jump pad could be incredibly dangerous. He can still take the armor. scizr should have been able to hear that though, or at least figure, all right, if he's not up there, he's going to be down there. But he dives! And that's a free escape there. I mean, scizr still has to wait for his own dire orb to come back up, and he didn't look up before going to the jump pad. What a play out of Erebux, getting the rocket, getting the rail, and getting the frag, taking off that ranger.
Yeah, a little tactical error there of scizr. He gave up the high ground, went down after him, and then, you know, not recognizing, one, that he had high ground, and two, that the dire orb can change position in a hurry. Great redirect by Erebux there to get the frag.
Just got to watch episode 3 more, man. That's all. Just got to keep that high ground. All right, so 2 minutes knocked off. And a ranger knocked off of scizr here. As Erebux is going to be really early for this Mega, getting a little bit punished by that, by scizr. But he's like, all right, cool, I still got the Mega, no biggie. That dire orb doesn't quite go his way. Committing to this would be extending a lot here. I mean, he can still burn a rail hit, and he knows that Nyx cannot. He's looking for the headshot here. Doesn't quite get it. I mean, okay, he didn't risk too much there. He could have gotten knocked down to 20 health like he just did there, but he could recover.
That's why it was a little risky after the initial trade, because he was wasting time, and then there's the frag. He was wasting time, and he was putting. He got the hit. He could have just backed off a little bit there and went to take a better position, so scizr wouldn't have been able to rush the Mega health like he did. So it kind of cost him getting a little greedy there, looking for that second hit.
I'm liking how these guys are playing this thing out, though. You're seeing a lot of opportunities created and missed here. But there's a nice little bit of aggression coming out of scizr to shut down that visor. Or visor, if you prefer.
Yeah, good finish. Good switch to LG there.
Right.
Keep him off the rail.
Yep. No rail for you.
It's
all right, we're going to see, yep. So if you're Nyx and you're playing a Nyx and she ghost walks, as soon as they pop back out, you ghost walk. It's just how that works. It's like whoever ghost walks first loses. But fortunately, neither of them took too much damage there, so they can go back and recover a little bit. Nice. And yeah, catching your opponent here, there's literally no place to run.
That's where weapon selection can really hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going for those rails. And granted, if he would have hit it, you know, people are going to look at that, well, if he would have hit the shot. But it's very disruptive when you have an LG hitting you. So it just makes that shot a lot more difficult.
Round 3. Fight.
All right, scizr spawning top bridge. He's going to be able to get a free rocket launcher. And yeah, there, if you have a little bit of a short sight on the items, you're just going to dive down for the armor. But I like that he went to make sure that he got weapons first. He got rocket, he got rail, and he got so much out of that. I mean, he even left the armor up. He's still kind of pushing Erebux here. I don't know if he knew he left the armor up, but He didn't want to
I
waste
don't
any
think he
time. I mean, he
realized.
can come back into it here. He can listen for the Mega, and he can kind of make sure that he takes that armor at a time that works for him. Or he can leave it up, and they might be able to get it at the same time. All right, Mega's finally taken. Only 2 seconds apart now.
Yeah, he didn't realize he missed it.
But the key takeaway there was that he got weapons, and he was able to fight back against erebux.
Yeah, you got to get your arsenal built up.
Pretty conservative play. You should be able to hear him up on top of bridge. That rocket should tell erebux that he's headed down towards LG. But scizr's actually going to juke back over here and look for a shot on armor, or even commit to it. He doesn't hear erebux. He's going to be able to get it, and that's going to be, again, a traded off grab of the items. And there's the trap, and this time it goes so much more cleanly. That's the way it's supposed to look. Even if he doesn't get a frag out of this, he's going to get so much damage and so much control. But the rails coming out of the staircase, you really have to respect those, and I like the fact that he jumped just to make sure that he got a rail in before his opponent had an opportunity to reload. That's the real danger there.
Yeah, yeah. He took the opportunity to get that shot back, kind of like one of those old rules in chess where somebody, if they take a piece from you, you should be looking to take something back. So
yeah.
You don't want unreturned damage in this game.
All right, so that's the Ranger gone from erebux. We've got armor coming back up in 15 seconds. In fact, they're both still kind of rather close to each other. So showing up on the staircase here, there's not a whole lot for erebux to get out of this. I mean, he got a lot of good LG damage. I'll give him that. But scizr certainly took a chunk off himself.
Yeah, the low position there is not advantageous. So even like you said, even though you got that good stream on him, he just ate the rockets and the rail on top of it. He's just poor position.
scizr's hearing erebux and wondering why he's sniffing around armor here. Both looking for each other. There's no trust. A lot of paranoia right now about where they're at. Look at this. scizr's completely like, oh, you're up there. Okay, cool. Now you're going to rail. Now I can figure things out. A little bit of a sonar rocket can figure out he's still up there. The spam so far is all right. But what is erebux hoping to get out of this? Does he not have a rail?
He just wants that rail gun. Yeah,
he doesn't actually have one? Jeez.
Doesn't have a gun yet, yeah.
It's very difficult to keep weapons off of an enemy for a long period of time, but if you can, it obviously makes a difference here. As we have it, erebux is just in a bad position. They traded damage, and he did enough to scizr to make him go back to Mega. But at least erebux was able to get his weapon. Does he want to use the railgun here, though? Putting himself up on the jump pad is not going to be the best way to stay alive, though.
Unfortunate. It's one of those weapon selection things.
There,
yeah. Yeah, he got the hit, and even though he landed it, it's like the reload time, man. Now you're just sitting there with nothing because you have to reload. And for newer players who don't realize, the weapon switching is based on your reload time. Yeah. So you can switch as fast as you want between weapons as long as you haven't fired. Or in the case of a machine gun and lightning gun, where it's rapid firing, obviously reload's not a factor. But a railgun, once you fire it, you're stuck on that weapon. You can't reload until you can't switch until it's done reloading. So even though he hit that shot, he was in a bad position.
And if you're not in cover there, where you can't get into cover, then yeah, GG. All right, but only Nyx left alive here for erebux, trying desperately to keep a foothold on this map. scizr staying top here. And yeah, it really does mean a lot when your opponent can be above you the whole time crossing this side of the map. It makes it a very dangerous place to be, but erebux doing a lot of good, consistent rocket damage there, pushing scizr back over to his side as they once again trade Mega and armor.
Yeah, scizr's in good position right now. Time's running out. He's up 2. It's erebux is going to have to make the push, and here it comes probably. Yeah.
Didn't go for it. Okay.
Surprised he didn't go all out.
So this puts him on the armor side of the map. If he stays here, he's going to need to make sure that he can either do damage on the armor or make sure that scizr can't get back over to the Mega. But that's a moot point. No theory crafting from me, as that rail will finish off the round.
Good round. Good finish there by scizr. His rail is definitely top notch. A couple good ambushes there by rocket launcher. You got erebux, right, getting a little careless strafe jumping through the RL to bridge area. So he's got to be careful about that and not letting that happen. More than that. It's already happened twice, and so he's got to be careful at not letting it happen a third time.
Yeah. All right. So as things start off, you can see that they really are not eager to show themselves. But erebux has a railgun, scizr does not, and erebux is more than eager to leverage that against scizr right now. Good rockets though. He's looking for that oblique hit, and he almost got the telefrag there as well. Ready with an LG. scizr could actually drop down and do some real damage, but he's got a rail now of his own, wants to fight back against erebux and show him he can play that game too. Nicely done. Oh my god, with 20 health left over. Is it going to be worth it, though? If he gets armor, it's going to take him some time to get extra 25s besides this one.
It's definitely, he's in good shape. Even after that, it's a good first kill. Oh, that was dangerous, though.
Dire Orb goes a little bit wide, and so does the rail. So that LG will even things back up.
He panicked a little bit there.
A little bit.
He panicked a little bit with that Dire Orb. Yeah, he could have... Because the Dire Orb, when you use your ability, it actually takes time to do it. There's an animation.
Yeah.
Well, he could have just kept popping those rockets. I thought he was in a good position.
He could have finished there. He just wanted to use the Dire Orb for a little bit of extra damage, but you can see how consistent he could be with the rail there.
Yeah, his rails, really sharp. Really sharp.
All right, so I'm not sure he would have been able to hear Mega. He should have been able to hear top armor taken. Didn't quite see his opponent escape through the gap. It was just barely a pixel off. But that means he's not looking for him on the staircase either. So that means that one rail from Nyx is all it's going to take. Or two Nyx, rather.
Yeah, he peeked over at rail and didn't see him running across, so he thought bridge was relatively safe. And yeah, Visor is already over there in that stairwell.
Jeez. It's so interesting having an armor down there as an incentive to actually dive off of the pillars. Happens so often now. Erebux is looking at a pretty great stack.
It's all right, but Nyx is in good position. Man, scizr's just hitting those rails.
All right, they're both willing to at least spend a rail, but here comes potentially the aggressive
This is good ghost walk here.
play. Yeah, this is perfect placement, and all he could do is escape up the jump pad, which is no escape at all, as scizr showing us. Nice rail. One more will finish this round, but there's the ghost walk. Can he get a railgun and get out of there? No, he didn't quite see him jump over to the other side. Might not even expect him on the jump pad, but should have seen him. Didn't quite get the hit, but that's okay. Yeah, so consistent.
Oh, go for the finish.
Oh my god, scope too. Jeez.
Yep.
That's brutal.
Very good game. Very good game. Great rails by scizr. Great rails. Good couple of reads there. He set some nice ambushes, some good traps, and it really punished erebux for some of those, kind of carelessly going through hallways or around the rocket launcher area. But look at that, just the rail damage. I mean, he's really good with that weapon.
Absolutely
you can tell
crazy.
It's definitely his go-to weapon. If somebody was watching this as a future opponent of his, maybe in the next round, I would definitely be thinking about trying to deny him that rail on Blood Covenant as much as possible. He's really sharp with it.
Absolutely insane. So, forgive me, but my mental bandwidth is a little bit constrained here. Did Erebux actually take that first map? I'm having a brain aneurysm here. Are we going into a third? I'll be really happy if we were.
Actually, I believe we are going into it.
Hey, we're going to get another one today, guys. All right, great. So, yeah, we are going back into it. Geez, the aim has been such a dividing factor between these two players, but at the same time, Erebux knows how to, on occasion, avoid it and get back out of those fights and come back in for something a little bit more ideal. And, of course, Blood Covenant is the map that allows you to set up those opportunities the most. If we saw scizr, just be able to just bull rush with the rail the whole time, that would be really dangerous. But that's going to be a completely moot point, as I believe we're going into Corrupted Keep. No rail.
Yep. Now I want to see. Yeah, I want to see how he plays now, because that was clearly his go-to weapon in both maps. He was landing a lot of good rails, and you can tell he was most comfortable with it in his hands. Obviously, the rocket launcher play is a part of it, but if you looked at his damage output from the previous match, his railgun was essentially twice as much damage as the next best weapon, which is the rocket launcher. So yeah, let's see how he adjusts now without the railgun in play.
Pity, because he was rocking the Quake 2 railgun model, which is actually a really good rendition. It's actually really close to the Quake Wars model as well, which is also great, and the sounds are perfect. I really love how the rail actually makes an impact sound if it hits like a wall next to you. We never had that before, and I'll geek out about sound design, but that's a good little touch. I think it adds a lot.
I pick up on little things like that. I like all the skins, and
yeah,
they're probably going to get some money off of me with that too. I've for example, like Overwatch and all these other games, I've spent money on just the silliest of things, just because I think it looks funny or cool or whatever.
Well, now you can get an egg on the back of Sorlag, so it's pretty awesome. All right, so Corrupted Keep.
An egg?
Yeah. You haven't seen that?
Oh man, I want it.
You haven't seen the egg?
Nope, now I want it.
Oh, geez,
now I want
gotta have it. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check it. Yeah,
just get some shards. You can't buy them yet, but you'll get it.
I'll collect shards. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we saw a lot of really good Nyx play. We saw a lot of really good rails out of both players, really. But of course, there's a slight edge on that with scizr. Erebux, though, I think I think he's a pretty smart guy. He had some really good conservative plays. And Corrupted Keep is a little bit of an anomaly, not only because of the lack of the rail, but also because it rewards both, kind of that plus back play at a lot of those traps, as well as a lot of those, really hyper-aggressive plays, especially as your opponent's spawning up. So we're going to have to see how that goes here. So guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back with the third and final map of erebux and scizr here in just a moment. Yo, button. Oh, that is the right button. No, this is the right button. There you go. All right, really, we just did that to weed out the people who needed to go, take a break or something. But we're still here. We're not going anywhere. We are indeed going to Corrupted Keep. scizr and erebux. GLs and HS thrown out here. A lot of good vibes here as we move into our third and final map here.
My personal favorite greeting. Everybody else's good luck, have fun. I like to, just put this out there. Die in a fire. This is kind of my thing. Forget all the pleasantries. I want you to die in my rocket fire right now.
A gentleman and a scholar, yeah. Actually, there is fire to die in here if you count the lava, which we haven't seen too much of yet. But this evening could be full of surprises. Here we go.
2, 1. Round 1.
All right, we're going to be seeing scizr, top of the map here, getting a grab of rocket launcher, which means that there's a lot of decisions that you just don't have to make. I mean, usually one of those is, when am I going to get that rocket launcher? The answer to that spawn is now. So it's also going to give him an armor. He's going to take a bit of a later grab for LG, but he's really ready for a fight between these two weapons.
Yeah, both guys are ready. Good ambush here.
Oh, geez, the double LG coming out of Blazkowicz.
Oh, the charge.
Scale Bears is barely alive here at 29 health. There's the 225s down below. I'm kind of surprised that Blazkowicz didn't dive down for those himself. But that's mega taken, possibly by Blazkowicz. There we go. And it's going to be a trade for armor. But there's enough time for, BJ to show up and be a real problem. Look at this LG coming out of scizr, though. Amazing work.
Yeah, good rockets, though, by both sides. Good trade there. Anybody's kill right now.
Yeah. But, again, these are...
Oh, Scale Bear is in good...
Oh, is he still behind there? He's still behind there. He's crouched. He didn't see him at all. He moved right past him to the teleporter and ended up eating some cells. But the stack from Scale Bear is enough to regret doing that. Jeez, 18 health left over. That was nasty.
That's where that tank stack really paid dividends for him.
This has turned into a tactical shooter. He thinks he actually is playing Wolfenstein and going all stealthy. All right, so that's one BJ down. But we do have one on scizr's end as well. So after that fight, the timing and control of the items has gotten a little bit muddy. scizr's making sure he's at least got natural stack before committing to anything. No, he's going to get caught by a handful of rockets, and there's going to be blue blood everywhere as erebux equals the score.
He's in bad shape now. After that now, oh my gosh, he's caught him at the rocket launcher. You got to be careful going for that rocket launcher when you don't have one. And
yeah.
Just got caught running over there, especially because you should know that he's coming back over now. He's stacked. He's going to be running a path back and forth between these items.
Yeah, this map would be absolutely, completely ridiculous if weapons were at like a 30-second respawn timer. Thankfully, you can get that rocket launcher even if it's not necessarily safe. But there we have it. First round going over to erebux.
Prepare to fight.
Yeah, good rocket play there, good control. When he got control at the end, he really forced the issue. He recognized he had both items separated. He was fully stacked. That's the time, you go on a spawn run right there. You're just looking for spawn kills.
All right, erebux this time with the shotgun spawn. Wanted to move smoothly and gracefully over to the rocket launcher, but no, we all saw that. At least he's got big armor here. He's got to hear scizr behind him. Oh, here comes the double LG already, but my god, he can survive it with 19 health left over, nailing him to the wall with that rocket. He's going to need all these 25s here. That was a really clutch play out of erebux.
Yeah, really good rockets. Again, wow, just walking him into these rockets. Good rocket placement. Just again, that won him in his last fight too. You know, he was that double BJ LG was hurting him. But if he had some good rockets, and you know, because rockets are going to hit you a lot harder and a lot faster than that LG is.
Yeah.
If you're landing them properly.
Here's your double LG, and it's the Quake 4 LG, so welcome to not being able to see anything for a couple seconds. But my god, a really fast round 2 there, as erebux in the tiebreaker is making this a very decisive, well, he's on the road to victory here so far against scizr.
3.
Yeah, looking really strong. Good rocket placement. Can't say it enough. I mean, he's really placing those rockets well, running his opponent into him, and then going in for the finish.
So far, scizr not having access to a rail is turning out to be a little bit of a problem.
He's got to make an adjustment, that's for sure.
He had the right idea with the double LG. I mean, that's never a bad idea. If you have that and you have one of the
yeah,
items,
he almost had him.
Yeah, was not a bad
He almost
call.
had him. It was just didn't work out for him. So that's why I was mentioning the good rocket play by erebux. It's really what turned the tide.
Well, it's always satisfying seeing 100 damage coming out of the rocket. And there's the stomp, stomp, stomp to get out of that fight. scizr could just barely make it. We see a little bit of a shake from erebux, but
Came out of
he
there
needed to
good.
keep his mind on where he was going. I think he still thought that he had scizr dead to rights. scizr came right back into it.
I don't know if he underestimated it. A nice mid-air rocket there. Jeez, his rockets are really on point.
Made sure to come right back into the game very quickly there. We've got Mega spawned up and Armor just a couple seconds later. It looks like both of them are going to be going for a trade here. erebux might see scizr coming through teleporter. Yep. But there's no real good place for scizr to go right now. I mean, he can get one of the armors. I'm sorry, he can't. He had huge armor. So they're pretty well stacked here. There's not a whole lot to play for except the timing on the next item as well as a little bit of ambush damage. erebux sees him. They're not going to be trading damage, just whiffing rockets at this point, but where's the damage on the... Oh no, I'm sure he wanted that rocket to actually go down to the Mega, but it clipped it a little bit too close there.
It'd be a race for the heavy armor.
Jeez. erebux getting away with just barely any health. He's still, well, it's a moot point, but railable here. But a single rocket would certainly ruin his day. All right, going for the piercing sight here. Wants to make sure that he can open this fight up with a lot of advantages. Or at least keep scizr off his back. I mean, it is interesting that your opponent can hear your
calculation there.
activating that ability. Yeah. That was a pretty well measured play out of scizr, really. He got a little bit of damage in. He didn't expose himself from cover too much. And now erebux is not entirely sure where he is. He got away with the armor, and he screwed up erebux's sense of the timing.
Just a little mistimed on that rocket. He had the right idea.
Oh, double LG, but this time erebux has the height advantage, and he can pop back into
one
cover.
health.
Oh, jeez.
scizr got away with 1 health there.
There was that half second where erebux was like, yeah, it's cool. I'll LG you too. Oh, right, you have 2. Never mind. All right, but there's armor and Mega taken away by erebux. And this map is told so much through just the missed opportunities to rocket somebody as they're disappearing around a corner. It's really good at those setups. I heard the teleporter actually, and he's going straight in for the kill. He wanted to go up a little bit quieter. He knew that he could throw some spam for free, but probably not get any real damage. But if you can get behind your opponent as they're coming out the other way, you actually have a good shot of catching him completely by surprise. And it worked out pretty well for erebux. He's definitely got scizr on the run, and that'll take down his Blazkowicz.
Yeah, he hit him with that good rocket going into the portal. He knew scizr was low, so he was kind of buying time and making sure he couldn't run away. And then when he got the opportunity to charge him, he did right up that pad. And he went right up the pad because he knew, even though that's technically not really the smartest thing to do. Ooh.
Nice use of the die orb there.
Whoa.
I don't think he
Turned
saw
him
it get
around.
thrown. I didn't see it get thrown. So when he suddenly disappeared, there was a half second of just like, wait, what? Where'd he go? Oh, right, Ranger. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely saw it. I'm surprised. He just got caught off guard. It was the desperation throw, and sometimes it works out for you. Got to watch out for that dire orb.
All right, but Nyx is so powerful here. erebux could indeed take this. This is match point on this Nyx, but a lot of the LG damage coming out of scizr means that erebux has got to hold off there and maybe avoid the play for the Mega.
Okay.
He's looking for the last little bit of damage with the HMG. If only he had a rail. Not going to happen, though. There's the pickup for the Mega. He can escape back through. He's going to show up for armor, just daring him to make this happen. Nope. Oh, he's on the opposite side of the bridge. He went through the teleporter, didn't look both ways across the street. And erebux, with the last remaining champion, will be taking the map, taking the tiebreaker, and taking the series.
Ah, huge error there. He didn't pick up one. He didn't have the heavy yet. And then he just kind of, you know, nonchalantly went through the portal there, and good prediction by erebux. You know, you heard him going over there. He's like, I'm gonna shoot some rockets at the portal exit over here.